Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of videos. Today we've got a beautiful puzzle today that I want to share with you. The stipulation is this: it is white to move and to checkmate in 2 moves. If you want to skip ahead to the solution, you're more than welcome to, but if you want to stay around and I can talk a little bit about this problem and how I was able to solve it, you're more than welcome to. Okay, before I start, just a reminder, make sure you leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, if you enjoy what you see in this video. So, here we have this particular puzzle. It's white to move and checkmate in 2. Now, this one has a little bit of a story attached to it because this was a puzzle that was presented to me at the British Chess Championships. So, I was competing in the British Chess Championships this year, and one of the evenings had a puzzle night. So this is where you could spend an evening just solving different compositions, different puzzles, instead of playing in the British or whatever it was. But I mean, I played in the morning, so I was able to do this in the evening. So what happens in this particular competition was we were all sat down in a room. We had 12 puzzles that we needed to solve, and there were various mate and twos, mate and threes, and there was a couple of self-mates, helpmates, I think, as well, in that particular selection. And we had 2 hours to try and solve all 12 of them. Now, so if you're good at maths, you probably understand that means that you've got roughly about 10 minutes for each of the puzzles. So I managed to solve the first 2. The first 2 weren't too difficult, just some simple kind of like zugzwang type themes, as it is always the case normally with the checkmate in 2s. But this one I got stuck on, and the first 10 minutes kind of rolled by, and I thought, well, okay, I've banked a few extra minutes because I've managed to solve the first 2 in about maybe 6 or 7 minutes. So the first 10 minutes rolls by, and I go, okay, I can't solve this one. Then the next 10 minutes rolls by, and I still can't solve this one. And suddenly 25 minutes pass and I just think, oh my goodness, I need to move on. And I move on to the next one. Okay, I think I end up solving a couple others later on, but yeah, it was extremely difficult. I then came back to this puzzle because I was like, I'm not going to get beaten by this puzzle. Last 10 minutes, as I say, it's only puzzle number 3 out of 12. So I'm thinking like, yeah, this should be the easier ones. But I still couldn't solve it after all that time. A really frustrating puzzle. And you're going to be frustrated as well when you try and see this solution. Okay, so let's have a look at how we solve these particular puzzles. So what I like to do first, whenever I'm solving compositions, is I want to first have a look at the king escape squares. And what I mean by that is when I was kind of solving it on the piece of paper or whatever I'm doing, if I'm doing it on here, I like to draw out the escape squares that the black king can go to. So you can see here he can't come to this square because of this king. So we draw that out. Can't come to this bishop square because of the knight. Can't come to these squares because of the queen. Can't come to here, can't come to here, and he can't actually come to this square. So I now know that the king has got no flight squares, which means all I'm really looking for is a check. The problem is, all of the pieces in this particular puzzle are doing some form of role. You'll notice that this queen is guarding these 3 squares. The bishop's guarding these 2 squares, and the knight here is guarding this, and the king is also guarding this square. And this was really important because when I was kind of trying to first solve it, I was looking at sort of zugzwangy type moves, because you'll notice that black hasn't got a huge amount of moves available to him. I mean, let's just reverse here a little bit and just imagine that it was black to move. Let's say he moves his pawn to d2. That's like the only move that he's got there. The problem here for black is it's going to be then checkmate in 1 move with the rook capturing here on e2. So just to kind of show you an example. Same as well, if he moves his knight, you can kind of see that it's going to be checkmate with the queen taking here on f6, or if the knight comes to here, that actually guards that escape square, so you can actually checkmate on e3. So I kind of foresaw all these things, but it's then still very hard to find the zugzwangy type move, the quiet move, to win this position. Now you're going to be quite amazed by the solution for this. The solution is in fact this quiet move, rook to f1. Very, very hard. I'd kind of seen this move, but I wasn't too sure on the follow-up, and I couldn't find a good way to then end up winning this position. Now, let's discuss some of the worse options here. If, let's say, the knight moves to any square, let's say it comes to, I don't know, g7, then this is a simple checkmate with queen to e3. Same as well if it comes to this square. We've discussed this already. Oh, sorry, not that move, sorry. We can actually come to this square, which is actually then checkmate. You'll notice the rook is guarding the queen, and the king has got no squares it can go to. So other moves that don't really work, well, you've got d2 as well. That's another solution. And against this, you can then checkmate on e3. So far, so good. But this is where I think I got stuck and why I kind of started to dismiss the solution. What about these pawns? Let's say they promote or capture. How do you then win? Well, the first one I thought was interesting was the queen coming to e1, or let's say the pawn promotes to a queen, or any piece, doesn't really matter. Well, here you can take here with rook takes on e1 with checkmate. But I think even harder, and the move I didn't see, or at least didn't visualize, was that happens after queen takes here, promotion to a queen. Because you'll notice that this doesn't work. You know, the king has actually got an escape square over here because we no longer have our rook. So how do we checkmate in just one move? Well, the move here is then queen to b2. This is with checkmate. A really nice solution. The same as well if, let's say, this becomes a knight, you know, maybe it's guarding like the square or something or whatever, then you still have queen b2 checkmate. A really nice puzzle, that one. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like to see some more of these puzzles from the British Chess Championships, do let me know. I could share a few more of them. There were all 12 of them were actually really nice, but very difficult to solve. But I can share some of them and some of the thought processes around it. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you found this instructive, and I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.